During the break, it was brought to our attention that there was an altercation inside the auditorium. It has also since been brought to our attention that this is now all over television. For the record, I think in the light of the broadcast, I should bring it to the public that we called all the legal representatives outside, and we were briefly advised as to what had taken place. But most importantly, Mr. Premhid tendered an unequivocal apology to the Commission Secretary, which the Commission Secretary accepted. I think we should leave it there. Thank you all. Mr. Shaskalsin?
Thank you, Chair. If we're going to go on record, I should also...
Yes, yes, Mr. Bana.
Are we simply going on record because there's something that we want to deal with? So we're all on record.
Oh, I forgot because there's now an additional counsel. I think there is a need for the formality for you, Mr. Bana, to place yourself on record.
Yes. I'm Rafik Bana, Chair, and I appear with my legal team who introduced previously, Mr. Camille Premhid and Brandon Casey on behalf of the witness, instructed by Mr. Teo.
Thank you, thank you. Was there an issue you wish to raise?
Yes, I'm not sure what Mr. Chaskelson wanted to deal with. Perhaps he could just deal with what he needed.
Or just a minute. Commissioner Baloyi is saying she got the sense that Mr. Shaskalsin wanted to say something about...
Chair, if things are going to be said publicly, I need to place on record that I behaved rudely to the legal team of Mr. Carrim before that altercation, and I apologize for that.
Thank you very much for the apology. Is it accepted?
Yes, we have no issue with it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks, Commissioner Baloyi, for bringing that to my attention. Yes, Mr. Bana.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to place on record two matters. The first deals with documents that we have been drip-fed since Friday and over the weekend. You will recall, and I was not involved, on the 6th of February, the postponement was caused by late documents that were handed to Mr. Carrim's legal team by the Commission's evidence leaders. Following upon that, we received documents on Friday in terms of the directive, and I'll deal with why those documents should not have been produced earlier. In terms of
Mr. Bana, may I just raise this? We've seen the correspondence, and may I just find out from Mr. Shaskalsin if he will be referring to or relying on the documents that were served after the postponement, not the supplementary bundle that was to be served on the 6th. The other documents, will you be using those today? Because what I have in mind, so as to save time, because a lot of time has been lost already. What I have in mind is whether it's possible for you to only use that documentation tomorrow and not today.
Chair, if we're talking about the documents, there was one written page and an electronic spreadsheet, which is the underlying source material for a document already in the bundle. I don't intend to refer to either of those today. There was as well, so there were the Friday documents, and then there were 6 pages.
Yeah, I wanted to refer to the 6 pages because I saw reference to 6 pages.
The 6 pages I will refer to today.
Mr. Bana, what do you think would practically cure? But 6 pages, when were the 6 pages served?
On Saturday.
On Saturday.
May I say
Yes.
this? It's not just a question of the number of pages in one spreadsheet. That spreadsheet I haven't even looked at. We received notice of it this morning at 8 o'clock. We asked for hard copies. We understand they're being printed, but people that have viewed it electronically say it's dense information. But whether it's one page or six, consultations are set up with the witness, consultations are held, and despite correspondence from my attorney saying, please don't drip feed us with documents, documents just keep appearing with no explanation as to why they were not given. In fact, even the Friday documents, it's clear the Commission was in possession of that ages ago. They could have been included when we were given the bundle on the 6th February. Instead, they were not. And attitude was taken, we'll see what's in your statement, and then we'll decide to give you the documents. That's a classic ambush. Giving us documents on the morning when we're traveling to court is a classic ambush. And it's no comfort to say we won't use those documents today, we'll deal with them tomorrow. We're all under constraints. Most of the legal team are fasting. It's Ramadan. The witness is fasting. We have a full day here. There's no time for after-hours consultation. And we've then got to deal on the hoof, so to speak, with documents that could have been provided. The Commission knew it was going to be using this. When I say the Commission, I obviously refer to the evidence leaders. And it's not acceptable where this rule of fairness is just ignored, and we're given documents. A letter was literally written at noon on Sunday saying we're being drip-fed documents. Please tell us there won't be any further documents in unequivocal terms. And despite being told there won't be further documents, we get those documents today. So it's a question of fairness. It's a question of why these documents are not produced. And it's a question of in our view, the evidence leaders trying to ambush Mr. Carrim by producing documents at a very late stage, which he hasn't had a full and proper opportunity to consult on. There's no reason we should be put through this in the holy month to have to expect to consult with a witness after hours when people are taken up by the breaking of the fast, by prayers and other such methods. The second issue is more concerning, though. Having looked at some of the documents given on Friday, it appears, and we'll wait to hear the questions, it appears that there's an attempt to introduce matter that is entirely irrelevant to the terms and the mandate of the Commission. So, for example, there are documents produced in an SIU investigation which don't concern Mr. Carrim in any way. Obviously, they're put up there. There's going to be an examination for the purpose of examination, and we are going to note that any attempt to ask questions which are not relevant or rationally connected to the purpose of the Commission and its mandate, in our view, transgresses the principles of legality and transgresses the principles of fairness. I put that out up front, Chair, because you're going to hear if there's an attempt to cross-examine on matters that are not rationally connected to that purpose, there are going to be constant objections from our side. And those objections are not because we in any way want to be obstructive, but Mr. Carrim's rights have to be protected. The terms of reference of the Commission have to be respected, and the principle of legality has to be upheld. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Shaskalson?
Chair, it is regrettable that some of these documents were furnished late, but it's important to put it in context. There was a ruling by this Commission that a statement had to be furnished last week, Friday. Mr. Carrim and his legal team unilaterally took it upon themselves to defy that ruling. They furnished their statement 5 days after this Commission ordered it to be furnished. If they had complied with the ruling, they would have received our statements, our additional documents having regard to what is said in their statement 5 days earlier. If they are complaining now that Friday was too late for them, well, then they should have thought about that before they decided to defy a ruling of this Commission and file their own statement 5 days late. They would have had an extra 5 days with the documents that they now complain were filed late, had they not unilaterally defied
What
the
do you say
ruling of
to
this
the
commission.
submission? What do you say to the submission that these are documents that the commission had all along and which could have provided to Mr. Carrim much earlier anyway, instead of waiting until his statement had been filed?
Some of the documents, there are ongoing investigations by this commission. We don't have documents. Every day we discover new documents. We can't, if every time we come across a potentially relevant document, we hand it over and add it to the bundle, it would be an unmanageable situation. We also don't know what is going to be relevant and what is not going to be relevant until we have done the whole exercise. We were probably in a position to hand over all of these documents by Wednesday, but we still hadn't received a statement. Once we got a statement, some of the documents may have become irrelevant. There may have been other statements that became relevant. The whole purpose of this schedule was to ensure that we were given a statement, and then if as a result of a statement we wanted to supplement the bundle, we would. And they defied that ruling, not us. We gave them our documents within 2 days of receiving their statement. And that was what the original ruling was.
And your submission on the documents that Mr. Bana says are irrelevant?
Oh, no, they are most definitely relevant. The relevance will emerge in the course of the questioning. Mr. Bana, who comes late to this party, may not understand the relevance, but they are very relevant. And if he wants to object, we will deal with his objections as and when they come.
So there isn't even a possibility of anticipating the objections in the sense of, in broad terms, perhaps, unless you are going to give away something, in broad terms, perhaps indicating the relevance at this stage. I'm not pushing you to.
Chair, I would rather deal with an objection as and when it comes, because, and when I deal with the objections, I'm not going to identify my entire line of questioning, because that would defeat the entire line of questioning. But I will deal with any objection that comes. I don't think we're going to save time by attempting to preempt the objection now, because we will then get objections at a later stage when specific questions are asked, which the connection to whatever argument is put forward here may not be immediately apparent to Mr. Bana, who has joined this party late.
And lastly, on the point about a consultation not having taken place with regard to some of the documents?
There are literally 6 pages of documents that came after Friday that I intend to refer to today. Mr. Carrim and his team have had more than enough time to consider how to respond to those 6 pages. And those, and let me flag something in this regard. Both those 6 pages concern issues relating to Mr. Morgan Mamela. Mr. Carrim and his legal team know that issues relating to Morgan Mamela are directly are going to be traversed in this matter. They were listed both in the notice in terms of Regulation 10.6, requesting the statement, and in the summons. For reasons which I don't know and which hopefully Mr. Carrim will explain, despite being instructed to issue a statement concerning the nature and extent of his relationship with Mr. Morgan Mamela, he declined to do so. He says nothing about Mr. Morgan Mamela. He clearly doesn't want to speak about Mr. Morgan Mamela. Those 6 pages raise important issues relating to Mr. Morgan Mamela. He's chosen not to engage with them. The attitude from the Commission side is he must, and he must answer whether he would prefer not to, whether or not he would prefer to stay silent in that regard.
Yes. Chair, firstly...
Oh, sorry. Let me repeat that my mic was off. I was saying I'm inclined to make a ruling subject to submissions you may wish to make in response, which would not be more than 5 minutes.
Yes. Chair, firstly, you've given several bits of incorrect information, which the evidence leader knows is incorrect. Firstly, Mr. Carrim did not defy the Commission in not producing the statement. The Commission is well aware of the circumstances. There was
We are
Yes.
past that, Mr. Bana,
Yes.
please. Yes, we are past that.
No, but I need to
Yes.
I need to deal with my learned friend can't go publicly with statements that are incorrect, and I don't have the opportunity to deal with that. So there was the in-camera hearing, and there was correspondence exchanged that the statement was equally confidential, and because of that was not produced.
We are aware of that, and
Yes.
the attitude we took as a commission was that despite whatever correspondence may have taken place, nobody ever said to Mr. Carrim he should not file
Yes.
his statement. Please move on.
Absolutely.
Please move on.
And you made a second directive that that statement had to be filed, I think, by Wednesday. And as soon as you did that, the statement. And as soon as you did that, the statement was filed. So there was no defiance of the Commission, and that is incorrect. The further incorrect statement that Mr. Marmela is referred to in the 10-6 notice, if you look at the 10-6 notice, you will see, and I think this is the notice given on 5 December 2025. There have been several notices. This is the last notice that we have on record. 5 December 2025, there is no mention of Mr. Marmela there. People such as Mr. Brown Mogotsi, etc., are referred to. No mention of Mr. Marmela. There is a reference to Mr. Marmela in the summons, but the summons requires that to be dealt with here and not in the statement. The 10-6 notice pertains to what should be in the statement, and there was nothing relating to Mr. Marmela. But all of that is also, by the way, the Commission knew and had these documents and knew it was going to rely on it. It shouldn't play a cat and mouse game to say, we'll wait and see what you say, and then we'll produce what we have. This is not an adversarial proceeding. It's not an attempt to try and ambush and catch witnesses out. We all know the purpose is fact-finding, and in the spirit of acting in a manner which is transparent and fair, those documents could all have been put up and should have been put up. The explanation that you're given that the relevance only appears from the statement is also incorrect, because our learned friends knew they were going to examine on this because it's in the summons, and it is incorrect to say they had to wait for the statement. Chair, I have raised a general objection as to documents being put into the bundle in an examination. That remains as a general objection, and we will raise specific objections to specific questions. But we do place on record that this is not what the Commission's mandate is, to deal with matters that concern the SIU, tenders that are not even related to the police services. And whilst Mr. Carrim will no doubt be able to deal with whatever is put to him, that is not the point. The point is that this Commission should stay within its mandate, and the evidence leaders should stay within their mandate. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Bana.
Sorry, Chair,
what I did not get to hear, sorry, Mr. Chair. What I did not get to hear was what Mr. Carrim's bottom line is for today.
Chair, that the spreadsheet itself might be one page, but that page is a collation of a number of source documents, and we will have to see how far we get today, and if we need more time, which is not the type of scenario that we adjourn at 4, and we expect it to be here at 9:30 to deal with this, we'll ask you to stand down further.
Stand down at what point?
Depending how far we get.
How far we get.
So let's assume that the questions today go till midday. We might be able to consult on the spreadsheet. And also there may be some consequential applications coming from that. There's an issue of confidentiality which I need to consider as well. And I want to give you the heads up for that.
Yes. You wanted to, thank you, Mr. Bana.
Thank
you
you,
wanted
Chair.
to respond, Mr. Shoskov?
Chair, there was a notice in terms of Rule 10.6 issued on the 24th of October that specifically referred to Mr. Marmela.
Let me direct that we should commence. Anything else we will deal with as and when it arises. May we commence?
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Carrim, the way we structure these processes.
The witness has not been has not taken the oath. Mr. Carrim, will you swear or affirm? You swear.
I swear.
Okay. Do you swear that the evidence you're going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you. I see you leaning forward. Are the mics not?
Just get
bring them
yeah.
closer so that you don't have to keep moving forward and backwards.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Carrim, just to explain the process, the first part of this process will just involve me leading you through your statement without any intrusive questioning. So in the first stage of the process, you don't need to be suspicious of me. There will come a point at which you do need to be suspicious of me. We will give you warning when that point is reached. But so that you know where we're going and how it is going to run, just know that until we reach the end of your statement, I'm not going to ask you any questions that are of any intrusive nature or designed to trap you in any way. The purpose of the first part of the questioning is merely to enable you to have the opportunity to put your version on record without being interrupted or disturbed. So there are really two ways in which you can do it. If you would like simply to read your statement into the record, we could do that. We could do it that way. If you would like me to ask you a couple of questions to facilitate that process, we can do it. We can do it that way. You must choose.
I think, Council, you can proceed.
Okay. So to begin with, let me just clarify that you have what you need to have in front of you. You should have 3 files, a small file with your statement in it.
Yeah.
We'll call that the statement file. And then 2 larger files which have exhibits in them.
Yes, I've got them.
Great. If we can start with the statement file and maybe start at the end of the statement, just confirm, first of all, that on page 11, the signature is yours.
Yes.
And can you confirm that the contents of the statement are true and correct?
Yes, they're true and correct.
Then if we can take the Commission through the statement, going back to page 1, in pages 1 to 3, you set out certain concerns that you have and reservations of rights. The statements, the paragraphs speak for themselves. Is there anything you would want to add or emphasize in that regard?
No, Chair. No, Council. Sorry.
Then if we move to paragraph 4 onwards, you describe your relationship with Medicare 24 Tshwane District and Mr. Matlala. Maybe if I can ask you to deal first with, essentially to read paragraphs 4 to 7, which deal with your relationship with Mr. Matlala before we get to the contract with Medicare 24.
Thank you, Council. So in this section, I deal with the nature of the relationship. I deal with the nature of the relationship with Medicare Tshwane. This will provide the Commission with inside detail and into the topics identified in Rule 10.6. As I have said, as I have stated elsewhere, I provided funding to Medicare 24 to the amount of 10 million rand. At some stage, to the best of my recollection, during June 2024, I received a call from Mr.
Sorry, Mr. Carrim, it sounds like you are too close to the mic here.
Okay. I'm just worried that you won't hear me from here. Is it fine from there?
It usually gets indicated to us if there are problems with the sound. Just go. Yes.
Am I audible? Am I audible now?
Yes.
Can I suggest the problem may be that there are two microphones on? Maybe switch one of them on.
We've always used them.
Oh.
Yes. No, switch it on.
Can we switch it on?
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. Yes, Mr. Carrim.
At some stage, to the best of my recollection, during June 2024, I received a telephone call from Mr. Matlala requesting a meeting with me. I know Vusi in the private, I know Vusi as we both operate in the private security sector. I'm a director and shareholder of Fusion Tactical Team, which is my security company. Prior to this, to the best of my recollection, I had no engagement, relationships, or dealing with Vusi beyond knowing in a general sense who he is.
And then from paragraphs 8, paragraphs 8 and 9, you describe Mr. Matlala's approach to you in relation to his tender with SAPS and wanting finance or funding from you. Can you read 8 and 9? And if there's anything you want to amplify, please do.
So at the meeting, Vusi, he had obviously told me he's the director of Med24 and that he had won this contract to provide medical services to SAPS. He then needed or required funds to perform under the tender as he had overcapitalized on the establishment of his tender and therefore encountered cash flow problems. He insisted that he was geared up for rendering the services in respect of the tender. He invited me to see his business premises in Pretoria. I visited the business premises and I confirmed it was state of the art. I was impressed from what I had seen and I could appreciate that Mr. Matlala could spend a considerable amount of monies in the capitalization of this tender. At the same time, when I visited the site, I then met also a Michael van Wyk, who was introduced to me as the CEO of Medcare24. Michael advised that he owned the Medcare24 franchise and that Mr. Matlala was a franchisee. Michael had, during our discussions, confirmed that he'd be assisting Vusi in operating and executing this tender. At the same time, I needed to verify this. I then reached out to a friend of mine, Mr. Brown Mogotsi, who is from Afrikaans as well, and who's someone that's known, who's connected. I then asked him to please verify and check if really this tender exists, and can he come back to me? Mr. Mogotsi then agreed to check for me. He reverted and said, yes, it is a valid contract. Vusi and I agreed that if I advanced the 10 million, I would be paid an additional amount of 10 million over a 3-year contract period. The repayment would be made at an equivalent of 10% of all payments received until the amount of 20 million was going to be paid. In terms of our agreement, we then set out the payment structure, which is attached. After July 2024, I would call Vusi from time to time and ask him whether he had received a signed SLA from SAPS and when can I expect a copy of this agreement between Medcare and SAPS. As we all had an agreement confirming our agreement. Because we had an agreement which was not signed, we agreed that we'll sign the agreement once the SLA was signed by SAPS. He experienced some delays in obtaining the SLA from SAPS, but there was no cause for concern as Med24 had already commenced in rendering services to them. This seemed quite plausible to me as in my experience, formal contracts often lag behind and before implementing the contract. I asked him if he had issued any invoices and when could I start expecting payments. He then stated to me that he stated to me he would commence payments upon receipt of sufficient funds from SAPS, including the payments due to me. Towards the end of 2024, we had still not got any payments in from what Vusi told me, and I began pressing Vusi to provide me with invoices and payments details from SAPS. At this stage, I was becoming despondent due to the non-payment from Vusi. I again then reached out to Mr. Brown Mogotsi. I then asked Brown to please check if Vusi is really receiving work and if the contract was going to be paid. Brown confirmed that he is delivering and we will be paid. During about December 2024, after being pressed to start making payments, Vusi advised that I would commence receiving payments shortly. This was a relief to me. Shortly thereafter, in January 2025, Vusi contacted me, requested further money to service the tender. I advised Vusi that I could not provide further funding at this stage because I was not receiving any payments towards the funds advanced, and that Ziggy needed cash for other projects and ventures. I was also concerned that the 10 million rand had already been advanced and I've not received a single payment. I would then, to verify this, contact Brown, for example, inquire whether payments were being made under the tender. Brown would always revert back to me based on what he allegedly knew. And also, I had no way of how Brown was verifying this. I need to place that on record. During these exchanges, Brown confirmed that the tender was still in operation and that payments were in progress. In February 2025, payments started trickling in. By mid-March 2025, I received net payment of 1.75 million, which was paid into Tamiz Investments business account. Before any other payments could be received unexpectedly in March, Vusi sent me a message regarding the cancellation of Medcare 24's contract. I informed Brown of what Vusi informed me and requested him to find out what was happening. Brown then agreed to inquire. Brown then later sent me a message stating that he had spoken to the minister. Brown advised me that in order to keep Vusi, I should inform Vusi that I have a good and direct relationship with the minister and his office. I advised Brown that this was a joke because I had no relationship with either the minister or his office. Brown's reasoning was that I should make Vusi believe that I have a relationship with the minister's office and that he would communicate directly with the minister's officers if, when, and required. Brown was clear that this was required and calculated to make Vusi believe that my involvement and my assistance with the minister and his office would be crucial, and therefore Vusi would therefore need me to pay me my money, or would need to pay me my money. In truth, I did not have any relationship with the minister. I then advised Brown this did not make sense to me without disclosing his close relationship with Vusi, which I only picked up after the commission, that Brown and Vusi were communicating, and I did not know about that. And then Brown advised that I should trust him, that I would be paid these monies owed to me if I followed and did what he suggested. I was extremely concerned since the cancellation of the contract with Vusi meant that Ziggy stood to lose the money it advanced. I needed a lever with Vusi to try to get paid and agreed to follow Brown's advice. Whenever issues arose around Vusi requiring information or clarity, I would send the same to Brown or call him. And when he responded, I would send the same to Vusi. I confirmed Brown was extremely confident about his strategy. As I was desperate, I agreed to go along with Brown's proposal. All messages referred to in the interactions with the minister, his officers, were sent to me by Brown, who advised that I send them to Vusi. I had no influence with the minister or any influence over him. There's a concern. The same message that I sent to Vusi in May 2025, in terms of Brown's instructions, was now I have learned, was sent to Vusi by Brown on the 4th of March. So the same message that Brown sent to Vusi on the 4th of March, Brown then sends me that message on the 6th of May, 2 months later, to send to Vusi, which I did, but I only realized this after the commission. So It was clear that both of them were playing me. And I I could not understand why Brown would advise me to resend it to Vusi. Thereafter, Vusi started to avoid me. At this stage, the Medicare 24 was being reported to the media to have been terminated by the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service. Vusi sent me messages regarding the cancellation of the tender, which made no sense to me for the following reasons. The STEPS contract was reported to have been terminated on the 12th of April. The termination letter of the SEPS contract was sent on the 12th of May. The minister had no influence or authority in the termination as the National Commissioner terminated it. Every undertaking and promise by Brown to meet with the minister or his office did not transpire. Again, with hindsight, I believe Brown was lying about the influence he had. I myself have no direct relationship to the minister. Instead, I was asked by Brown to continue sending messages to Vusi assuring him of a meeting with the minister, which I did, but nothing came of it. Vusi advised that his attorneys were handling the termination and that the amounts owed for work would be paid to Medicare 24. Despite this, no monies was paid to me. Much later, I realized that Brown was misrepresenting his influence with the minister. I was quite upset about this because I know Brown for the last 15, 18 years from African. And I've always been assisting him and his foundations. In hindsight, it is clear Brown was playing me. I also suspect that he was not acting alone and that Vusi did so too. When one considers the messages, it is clear that I was caught in the middle of them. Vusi knew very well that I had no contacts, and Brown knew that I turned to him because I became reliant on his advices. Vusi ceased responding to me around May 2025. I can confirm that I, Ziggy, am approximately out of pocket of 8.25 million rand. This excludes the profit of the monies advanced to Medicare 24. Should I continue, Council?
Certainly. I'll ask clarificatory questions at the end. So I think continue through your statement.
I have to now turn to deal with remaining topics set out in the notice. The nature of the relationship with Minister Senzo Mkunu. I have no relationship with the minister, whether professional or personal. The nature of relationship with General Firoz Khan. I have no relationship with General Firoz Khan. I know him as we sometimes pray at the same mosque in Houghton when I'm in the Joburg area. The nature and extent of the relationship with Hotle Specialist. This is Brown's wife's company. I normally assist his wife and him through Hotle Specialist. So Brown's wife has a company. She does cleaning. She does gardening services. She sometimes does my gardening services. She does some cleaning for me. She looks after my plant equipment. She cleans the plant equipment. And this has been happening way before this. I've always been assisting Brown and his wife. Regarding the litigation to review and set aside in a tender in the Northwest, they approached me. A few business forums in the Northwest approached Mr. Brown Mogotsi and his foundation. I think there was a catering tender at the Department of Northwest, and I must put it on record, I'm not a caterer. They approached me and they requested funding to challenge this tender in court. Now, I'm from the Northwest. I was born in Mafeking, so I'm very close to the people of Northwest. And on many occasions, we have always been marginalized. We've got the highest unemployment rate. We always losing out to jobs like these to people from other provinces. And I don't have an issue with that, but when people from the Northwest are disadvantaged, I take it to my heart. I then agreed to assist Brown with the foundation through these business forums to challenge this in court. And I provided them with some funding, which they then said they will pay back to me. I have often and at no cost helped many individuals and businesses in the Northwest. The nature and extent of my relationship with General Shedrick Sibia, I have no relationship with this individual. In conclusion, I would like to make the following remarks. I have been branded as an enabler due to my relationship with the minister. There is no factual basis to make such a statement. I confirm that I have never had a personal or professional relationship with the minister. I have never spoken to the minister. In fact, when one considers the fact the current Minister of Police only assumed office on the 3rd of July 2024, and the SEP contract was awarded before the tenure of the erstwhile Minister of Police, Becky Taylor. It is clear that it is impossible and as a fact untrue that I could have any corrosive influence over two different ministers of police. In addition, the SEP's contract was cancelled, leaving me out of pocket of approximately 8.25 million. If I were the enabler with a sustainable investment and an interest in the success, the contract would have not been cancelled. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carrim. I'm going to start by asking a few clarificatory questions, but we've now reached the end of the sort of friendly side of the engagement. So even though these questions are clarificatory, know that you need to be on your guard going forward. If I understand your statement, you never had a written contract with Medicare 24 Tshwane. At no stage did you ever conclude a written contract with them. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what wasn't clear to me was whether you ever saw a written contract between SAPS and Medicare 24. You say at a certain point you hadn't. Was it ever shown to you?
Yes, it was. I have a copy of the SLA. I was given a copy of the SLA.
And when was the SLA given to you?
Late in October sometime, 2024.
Then, if I understand your evidence again, the contract with Medicare 24 was going to be with Ziggy. Ziggy was the vehicle that...
That's correct.
And Ziggy's your company.
Correct.
Then you speak on page 5 of your statement, paragraph 23, of a net repayment of 1.75 million. You say in February 2025, payments started trickling in. By mid-March, I received only a net repayment of 1.75 million, which was paid into Tamiz.
Yes, that's correct, Council.
Now, how was that 1.7? I mean, we have seen two separate payments. A payment on the 4th of February from Medicare of 1.5 million to Tamiz, and a payment on the 17th of March to Tamiz of 1 million by Medicare, which is 2.5 million. My understanding of your evidence, and again, call me out if I'm wrong, is that you get to your net 175 this way. So there's 1.5 that's paid on 4 February. On the same day, from that 1.5, 500,000 is paid to an entity called Lutaga Trading Enterprises.
Correct.
So that's a net 1 million. And from the 1 million that was paid on the 17th of March, 250,000 was paid to Lutaga on the 22nd of March.
That's correct.
And okay, so that is the net 1.75 is derived that way. Then, at various points in your statement, you refer to messages that were exchanged between yourself and Mr. Mogotsi. Were these text messages, WhatsApp messages, signal messages? What message? How do you communicate with Mr. Mogotsi?
That time it was some text, but WhatsApps as well.
Now, you don't attach any of these messages. Are you able to produce them for us?
So I'll have to go back into my iCloud and see if they still exist there.
Your iCloud or or your WhatsApp archive?
I remember I changed phones. So when you change phones, you sometimes don't have those messages still there.
And when did you change phones?
Changed phones a couple of times, Council.
But dates is what I'm interested in.
Okay,
approximate dates.
well, as soon as new iPhones come out, we're always upgrading. So I think I've changed phones twice since 2024.
But again, dates I'm interested in. When did you
I can't recall the dates, Council.
approximately how long have you had your current iPhone?
Current one is just a few months now.
And on your current iPhone, do you not import your old WhatsApp messages for an archive?
No,
But you would cooperate with the Commission in going onto your iCloud to try to retrieve your old WhatsApp communications with Mr. Mogotsi.
I'd have to consult my legal team on that, Council, and come back to you.
Well, maybe you can consult over one of the adjournments and come back to us on that score. I've noted your statement about not having a relationship with General Khan. If you go to page 7 of the evidence bundle,
Yes.
you'll see that on the 4th of March, Mr. Matlala sent you a report about General Khan being found not guilty in his disciplinary inquiry. Had you discussed General Khan at all with Mr. Matlala?
No, not at all. I have no idea why he sent me this message. He sent me a few News 24 articles, but I didn't even respond to this message when he sent it to me.
No. Thank you. Then, if we go to your statement on page 6, concerning your relationship with the minister and how you misled Mr. Matlala in this regard. You say in paragraph 26, Brown advised me that in order to obtain my monies from Vusi, I should inform Vusi I have a good direct relationship with the minister and or his office. I advised Brown this was a joke. I had no relationship with either the minister or his office. And then Brown explained his reasoning. It was that you should make Vusi believe I have a relationship, that you had a relationship with the office, and you could, and he, Brown, would communicate directly with the minister if and when required. And he seemed to think that if Mr. Matlala believed that you had a relationship with the minister, he'd then want to preserve his relationship with you and would therefore pay you when he could. Is that the broad understanding?
That's the understanding, yes.
Now, I'm trying to understand when all of this happened. So if we go back to paragraph 23 on page 5, we see you say in February 25, payments started trickling in. By mid-March, I had received only a net payment of 175 million. And then before further payments could be received, and unexpectedly, in March 2025, Vusi sent a message regarding cancellation. So this exchange, this strategy of pretending to have influence with the minister would have happened after the net payments had come in and after Vusi sent you a message about cancellation.
These messages started just after January, around February.
Sorry, I just didn't hear that. I apologize.
When payments started trickling in 2025, towards the end of Feb, the messages, that's when Brown's strategy went into place with the minister.
Let's just go through it. Well, hang on a minute. If we go to 24 and 25, you say, before further payments could be received and unexpectedly in March, Vusi sent me a message regarding cancellation. So Vusi sends you a message about cancellation.
Yes, and at the same time, I think Brown also sent me a message about cancellation. So this was, because Brown knew was about the cancellation as well. So he also sent me a message regarding the cancellation.
Well, that's not what you say in 25. You say you informed Brown
Yes, I say that.
of what Vusi had informed you.
Yes, but Brown already knew.
Okay, so Brown already knew, but your approach to Brown comes after Vusi tells you about the cancellation.
Yes.
Now, how did you inform Brown? Did you call him? Did you message him?
I called him.
You called him. And he said he would inquire.
Yes.
And then he sent you a message stating that he had spoken to the minister.
Yes.
When is all of this happening? You get a message from Vusi.
This is all happening from from the beginning of March, end of Feb, going into March.
I'm interested in how long this process takes.
It was March, April, up to May, actually.
No. I understand that the process continues, that the process of pretending to have a relationship with the minister continues until May. But I'm interested in this exchange with Brown that persuades you to adopt the strategy of misleading Mr. Matlala about an alleged relationship with the minister. You have a message from Mr. Matlala relating to cancellation. You then inform Brown. When do you inform Brown of this message?
Immediately.
Immediately. And what do you mean immediately? Like the next minute, the next day?
No, on the same day.
Same day. Brown says he's going to inquire. Okay, and then he sends you a message. How long does it take Brown to get back to you? Does he come back to you on the same day, the next day, the next week?
I think about 2 days, 3 days. It wasn't the same day.
Okay. And then what does he say when he comes back to you? Because he says he's spoken to the minister.
Yeah, he just said to me, spoken to the minister, and he said he'll come back to me on details. But what he advised me, he said that in order to obtain my money from Vusi and get more payments, I should continue talking to Vusi, keeping him close to me.
No, I understand the gist of it, but he messages you saying he's spoken to the minister. Presumably you wanted to know what the minister had told him.
I called him back. He said to me he will inform me in due course of what the minister said. He'll come back to me.
And did he ever come back to you and tell you what the minister
said? I kept on asking him, what did the minister say? Knowing Mr. Mogotsi, he kept on saying, no, don't worry, it's going to work. Just be patient. I've spoken to the minister, just relax. He never gave me any explanations.
But then he says to you, after he's told you that he's spoken to the minister, and after you've asked him what the minister said, and he's ducked and dived a bit, he says, you need to pretend to Mr. Matlala that you have a good relationship with the minister.
Yes.
And you think this is a joke, because you have no relationship with the minister.
Yes, it was a joke at the time when I told him this.
And again, where was this exchange taking place? Was it on the phone? Was it in messages? Was it in person?
It was in person.
Now, and where was it? Presumably in Mafikeng?
In Mafikeng, yes.
At your house, at your office, at his house?
We met at the office.
Now, he says to you, I mean, he comes up with this suggestion that you believe to be a bit of a joke. But he seems ultimately to persuade you of the wisdom of his plan that you initially thought was a joke.
Yes, I believed that Brown had the influence at that time. On many occasions in the Northwest, especially in the structures of the ANC, Brown would lead the campaigns. He led one of the campaigns in 2017. It was a CR campaign. Brown led it. Again in 2022, he was leading that campaign. So based on how I know him, I believed he had these contacts, and I was convinced that he had those contacts at that time.
So I understand that you believed that he had contacts with the minister, but you'd asked him to give some indication of what the minister had told him, and he had ducked and dived.
Yeah, he just kept on saying, just relax, it's under control, it's under control. Those were his words to me every time I asked him.
Mr. Carrim, you should please wait until...
sorry.
Yes, because when you speak at the same time, there will be transcription problems.
Sorry.
Thank you.
But were you not interested in some detail?
Of course I was, counsel. I was very interested. But what made me believe him is because when we were looking for payments and when we were inquiring about payments, Brown would always have the information about when payment would be made. So I believed when he said things are under control, I just need to be patient and I will get my money.
And when did you inquire with Brown about payments? When had he proven his worth on payments?
I think we'll have to go to the messages with Vusi. So at the same time when I was communicating with Vusi, at the same time I was communicating with Mr. Mogotsi.
We'll get there in due course. But essentially, when you're communicating when you report material to Vusi about payments, are you reporting what Brown has told you about payments?
Yes, I was. But funny enough, counsel, I need to bring this to your attention. Same time I asked Brown about payments, Brown would say payments are coming. Mr. Matlala or Kat would ask me about payments, but he would send me screenshots from the police system. Mr. Matlala himself would then send me screenshots from the police system about the payments. So this was strange for me because why would he be asking me? And at that point, I thought maybe he's trying to test me and see, do I really have those contacts or not? So the minute I ask him or I report back to him and say, okay, Brown would say payments are coming. Then message Vusi and say payments are coming. Vusi would then send me a screenshot of payments.
So you would tell him payments are coming, and then he would respond by sending you a screenshot.
That's correct.
But why would that then be testing you?
I don't know why else he would have done it, because it happens, he asks, I inquire, I come back, I say to him, payments are coming. After a day, I'm not sure, we need to check in the messages, a day or after a couple of hours, he then sends me a screenshot from the police system of the payments.
I see. And you...
Can I just ask Mr. Chairperson, just so that I understand, you say Mr. Matlala asked you about payments when they would come?
Yeah, he would ask me, when are we getting paid? How are we getting paid?
Yes.
Because he believes I have influence.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Why would Mr. Matlala think that you would know when you're being paid, when his contract was being paid?
Remember, counsel, I gave him the impression that I'm close to the minister in the office and that I have some context inside. So he then thought or believed I would have access to payments. But my real reliance was on Mr. Mogotsi.
But on your version in the statement, you only gave that impression after Mr. Mogotsi had persuaded you that the only way you were going to get paid after cancellation was by creating that false impression.
No, this had started in Feb, before we got paid. This had started, I was saying February.
Sorry, again, I must apologize. I didn't hear, there was some distortion. You said it started in Feb.
The messages started in Feb
Which messages?
between me and Mr. Matlala on payments.
But in Feb, you received your first payment.
Yes. So we were talking about these payments and he believed I had influence.
Mr. Carrim, I think I will go back on my earlier advice that you pull the mics closer. Yeah, we get a distortion when we are too close. Can you please avoid being too close to the mic?
Okay, let me push it back.
Yes.
Let me just go to my statement, Council. In 10, I say I reached out to Brown Mogotsi.
Yes.
So at that time already, myself and Vusi did have a conversation. And I did say to Vusi that I've checked myself on your tender. I've done my own due diligence. He asked me how. Brown advised me to tell him that I've checked on the SAP system and that it's verified. So from then, Mr. Matlala believed that I had influence.
But sorry, this is at the stage of due diligence. This is at a stage where you are trying to decide for yourself whether you want to risk 10 million of your money with this contract. And so when you go to Mr. Mogotsi at that stage, you're going to satisfy yourself, not to satisfy Mr. Matlala.
Correct.
And Mr. Mogotsi says to you, rightly, truly or untruly, yes, this contract's on the system. Why would he at that stage advise you to start misrepresenting the nature of your relationship with SAPS?
No, he didn't advise. He said to me, as we move, because Mr. Matlala knew that I was checking. Mr. Matlala was obviously inquisitive. He wanted to know how. I just said to him, no, I have people. Because Mr. Matlala wanted to know how did I verify this contract? And I said to him, no, I have people. I have people who are connected and they confirmed. So at that point already, Mr. Matlala was aware that I have some people that I can refer to, which was obviously Mr. Mogotsi.
So it's back in June 2024 that Mr. Matlala starts thinking that you are connected with SAPS. But that, of course, is after he approaches you for the 10 million.
Yeah.
So he doesn't approach you for the 10 million on the basis of your connections with SAPS. He approaches you for the 10 million because he needs 10 million.
Yes.
Let's go back to the sequence. Payments come in February and March. Mr. Matlala then messages you about potential cancellation. You speak to Brown. Brown says he's going to contact, he messages you to say he'll speak to the minister. Comes back to you, says, look, no, I've spoken to the minister, everything's going to be all right, essentially. You ask him, sorry, I can see you nodding, but we're going to have a transcript at the end of this. So I need you to sort of say yes instead of not.
Yes.
You ask him what the minister said. He says, everything will be all right. Essentially, you don't need to know now, just trust me.
That's what he said.
He then, at a later stage, a couple of days later, comes to meet you at your offices, if you remember correctly, and tries to persuade you about this scheme of telling Mr. Matlala that you have close connections with the minister and persuading you that if Mr. Matlala thinks that you have close connections with the minister, that's the way you will get paid, because he will pay you to keep you sweet because of your relationship with the minister.
That's correct. That was his strategy.
You say to him, this is a joke. I don't have a relationship with the minister.
Yes, I did.
So at that stage, you thought you can't say to Mr. Matlala, I've got a relationship with the minister, because you didn't have a relationship with the minister.
But I had to do it because I was...
No, I'm getting the chronology. At that stage, you had no intention of telling Mr. Matlala you had a relationship with the minister, because you didn't. Is that a yes?
Can you repeat that, Councillor?
At that stage, when Mr. Mogotsi first puts his proposition to you, you think it's a joke? Okay, yes.
Yes.
And at that stage, until he persuades you later, you have no intention of telling Mr. Mogotsi you have a close relationship with the minister, because you don't have a close relationship with the minister.
With Mr. Matlala.
Telling Mr. Matlala.
Sorry, Mr. Matlala, not Mr. Mogotsi.
No, I did tell him that I have a close relationship.
When did you tell him you have a close relationship with the minister?
Just after Brown informed me to go along with the strategy.
Yes, but before Brown convinced you, you didn't want to do that.
Yes, but I did it. Like I said, I was desperate and I needed to do it.
Now, I understand that Brown ultimately convinces you that you must go with his plan.
Yes.
But when he first raises the plan, you have no intention of going along with it. You're later convinced.
Correct.
Were you convinced at that meeting, or were there subsequent meetings?
No, he convinced me at that meeting.
So you deliberately misrepresented the nature of your relationship with the minister to Mr. Matlala in the hope that this would persuade him to pay you ahead of other potential creditors.
Correct.
And apart from misrepresenting to Mr. Matlala your relationship with the minister, did you ever suggest to him that you had connections in SAPS itself, as opposed to the ministry, and that those connections could help him?
He believed that I had connections in the SAPS. He believed that.
But you say you didn't have connections.
I had no connections.
And your only insight into SAP's internal operations was what Mr. Mogotsi relayed to you.
Yes.
Was it you that convinced him that you had connections within SAPS? Was it you that convinced him?
Convinced who? Mr. Matlala.
Mr. Matlala, yes.
He believed.
I get it, I
Yes.
get it. You've said so. You've said so.
Yes, because
Was
when he
it-
asked about payments, I would revert and give him
Did he-
information on
did he-
payments from
did he
Brown.
come-
Yes. He
did he
believed that I had.
Did he come to believe because of what you had said to him, or not really?
To me, it seemed as if he believed.
Yes, you've said that 3 times now. I want to know whether that belief was as a result of what you had said to him.
That's correct, Commissioner.
What had you said to him?
I said to him that I have, like I said previously, I have someone who's connected and they'll be able to check for us in the system. And I relied on,
Somebody within SAPS.
yeah, but I relied obviously on Mr. Mogotsi.
All right. Thank you.
Can I just understand that answer? Is your answer that you told him that you have connections with INSEPs? Because
No.
that was a direct question from Mr. Chaskalson, and I'm confused about your answer.
I said I have someone who's connected in SEPS,
You have someone in SEPs itself?
someone who's connected to SEPS.
Okay, again, still clarificatory, but a different area. If you go to page 7,
7 of?
of the statement, you say, you're talking essentially about the collapse of your relationship with Mr. Matlala at this point in your statement. And you say, paragraph 30 starts, confirmed Brown was extremely confident about the strategy. I was desperate. I agreed to go along with Brown's proposal. All messages referred to in the interactions with the minister stroke his officers were sent to me by Brown, who advised I send them to Vusi. So anything that you said purporting to relate to the minister came from Brown.
Yes,
That you pretended that it was your direct information.
yes,
You had no influence with the minister nor any influence over him. Then you say the same message I sent to Vusi in May 2025, in terms of Brown's instruction, was, I've now learnt, sent by Vusi to Brown on 4 March 2025. Your statement's correct in this regard. I don't think anything significant turns on it, but when you read the statement, you actually read that as was sent by Brown to Vusi, not by Vusi to Brown. What you've got in the statement is correct.
okay.
This confirms that Brown and Vusi have already exchanged this message, and I cannot understand why Brian would advise me to resend it to Vusi. Thereafter, Vusi started avoiding me. So you say after that May message where you pretended to have had an interaction with the minister that mirrored something that Mr. Matlala had sent to Mr. Mogotsi, he started avoiding you.
Yes.
How did you experience this avoidance?
I stopped responding to texts, so he stopped taking my calls. It just became evasive.
Sorry, he just became evasive.
Evasive, yeah.
Let us take the adjournment at this stage and resume at 11:45. Let's adjourn.